In our last episode, we explored beautiful Butterfly Bay. Then we sailed around to the Stonehaven anchorage and found a strange phenomenon on One Foot Island. Hi everyone, welcome aboard. Today we are answering your questions in a Q&A. So thanks very much for putting them to us. First one is, tell us about who you are and tell us about what you are and whatnot.
Yeah, we're just a pair of dudes just sailing around.
Yeah, we're two happy campers sailing around. That's who we are. We love the sailing and love being on the water and love being in connection with nature. So that's where we've based our life, directed our life, and that's what we're up to. And I am Meg, and this is Darren. And I grew up in New Zealand on a farm and was introduced to sailing when I was a teenager with one of Mum's boyfriends, and that got me hooked, and sort of spent a lot of my life then on and off boats and living aboard and trying to figure out how to get my cruising dream going. And I worked as a massage therapist and was really happy with my kind of semi-land, semi-cruising life. And one day I just had a bit of a lightning bolt moment, and I hadn't managed to have children and I didn't have any ties at all, and I just thought, why am I doing this kind of semi-happy life when I can be going and doing what I really like, because I was quite free apart from my gorgeous pooch Moo. So I thought, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to get myself a job that allows me to cruise for longer time. So I switched jobs. I begged the heck out of a guy doing offshore work, and he put me on, and that allowed me to work month on, month off, and it was great. So then I sold up my kind of bits from Fremantle and bought a camper van and came to the east coast of Australia with a plan to find my next cruising boat, and Moo came along, and she would be looked after by lovely people while I was away at work. So it was a good plan, and that's how we met. Me being over here in a sailing orientated place looking for my next boat. So yeah.
And you found it.
I found it. I found it with my lovely man. So lucky me. What about you, babe?
Yeah, well, I grew up on the family farm and dairy property, and then I started. It just happened that I just started working there. I left school and started working on the farm, and that was pretty good. And at that stage, even as a young fella, I was already gravitating towards the ocean, and I thought, well, I'd probably been there for 10 years and thought, well, the 7 days a week gig and not that much money in it. Thought, well, this is not really, it's probably not really going to work for me. And so I moved on to something that paid. So I got into mining, and the money was okay, and flexible rosters and stuff like that. And back in the old days, you could just say, hey, I'm going sailing. Yeah, see you guys. I'll give you a ring when I get back, and that's how it used to be, and it sort of still is. But I bought a boat. As soon as I started mining, it didn't take me long to get enough money to buy an oldish sort of boat that it got me moving. And anyway, this is where we're at today with still an old boat.
Yeah, we've still got a beautiful old boat. But we met and made a new plan, a new direction. I think Darren was kind of wondering what he was going to do with himself, and I came in and sort of said, right, let's go. So that's our story. We made a plan on how we're going to do that, and here we are.
Yeah.
So the next question, what happened to Meg's neck? And lots of you lovely people have asked what happened to my neck, and thank you very much. It's quite humbling to have people you don't even know caring about you, so you're all very lovely, thank you. What happened is, I guess my body likes to grow things in the wrong places, and I grew a bony spur in my spine, in my cervical spine in my neck, which then turned into arthritis and was impinging a nerve, and so I had a long period of time, a year or something, where I was trying to figure out how to fix that. A lot of time taking a lot of really heavy medication, and a lot of time basically whacked out, and eventually I managed to convince a doctor who said to me basically, just give up your sailing life and give up your work and sort of sit on the couch kind of thing, and not my option.
It wasn't going to work.
Yeah, so eventually I found got a referral to a surgeon and found a guy who was just on our game plan, which is great, because I said to him, we really want to keep sailing and we want to sail around the world, and we can't do this two up with me being flat on my back for 4 or 5 days. So he operated, which was painful and fantastic. So I got a couple of screws. They screwed the 2 vertebrae together and put a cage in there which has got coral in it, which basically is growing, hopefully, and fusing the 2 vertebrae together. So how is it? It's pretty good. It's only been 4 months, so I'm still majorly in recovery mode. There's a lot of things I can't do. I can't jump into the water, which I normally do, but I'll be able to do that, in a year down the track maybe. And dinghy rides in rough weather are a problem. They set my neck off, and looking up the mast, can't do that for very long. But otherwise, it's great, isn't it? It's amazing not to have to be on the painkillers, and it's amazing to be able to move the neck and be free. So it's a short period of time in our life, and it's healing up nicely. So thank you very much. That is what happened to my neck. Okay, so we've got some Cyclone questions. So Frank Gerlach asked where we get our weather info from.
Yeah.
And we use Windy TY a lot. It's an animated program that brings in a couple of different forecasting systems, and we're coastal at the moment, so we're using the Bureau of Meteorology, which is Australian weather, and offshore a program called Predict Wind. So that's what we use.
Yeah, you jump on the website Windy TY. It's all free, and check it out. It'll give you a lot more understanding of how the winds sort of circulate around the world. It's really good.
Yeah, winds and currents and tides and snow and rain, and it covers a lot. Really quite comprehensive.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. So Paul Heitkemper, sorry if didn't pronounce that correctly. He asked what we did with the dinghy during the cyclone, and we had, if you look at the footage, we had the dinghies tied into the davits, and we tied her down as best as we could, and she did fly. So if you haven't seen that footage,
check it out. It's pretty good.
Check it out. She did spin a little bit. So Legend 343. He asked, were you worried about Crocs? Because we did go into a mangrove area, and this part of Australia does have crocodiles. So were you worried?
Not particularly. They seem to be quite timid. Touch wood.
seem to be quite timid.
So it's pretty rare you see them, but some places they're not quite so timid. So, yeah.
I wasn't worried about Crocs, but I was aware.
Yeah.
There was a fellow actually who, and you won't see that in the footage. He came floating past us up the creek on his paddleboard, and I must say I thought that was a bit. A bit dodgy.
He looked like a floating hot dog.
He did look like a floating hot dog. So yeah, we might have been worried for him. Okay, so distance goose, I think. Sorry if I get the names wrong. Why did we leave all our canvas up? Yeah, good question. We couldn't actually get the headsail down. We had problems with the sheath up the top, so we lashed it as best we could, and that was fine. It stayed there.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly concerned about the headsail. It's rode out a couple of other cyclones. It seems to fare up pretty good. If the sail was a little bit ruddy, I'd be a bit more concerned. But
we felt we were in a really protected place. So then we ended up just lashing the main as well. And the cockpit, the Dodger and whatnot, we had the clears down because we were there for just to give us an extra living space, really, just a bit of room to breathe, because we were sort of hunkered down for 4 days, something like that, just to give us that little, so we didn't go stir crazy. So we left the clears down as long as we could, and then we rolled them away when
just before the onslaught.
When it got really...
It got to a point where, we couldn't keep them up anymore.
We couldn't stay outside, so... James Franklin. Why did you not have the lines to the mangroves pulled tight? And that's a good question. The reason is because the tides here are quite big, between high tide and low tide. And if we had them pulled tight, we would risk then breaking away the mangroves when we went down at low tide.
Yeah, and coming up, we probably had an extra, the tide was already 4 metres, and plus there was probably another, I think, 1.5 metres of storm surge, so we were moving up and down like quite a bit.
Yeah. So
there's no way you could tie the lines tight.
Yeah, we needed to have that flexibility to cover the tides, so that's why. Okay, and Claudia, she asked why we decided to leave the Dodger and the Bimini up. So it just gave us a bit more living space while we could, which is fine. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I think I'd leave it up again, same scenario. I don't have a problem with leaving it up. It seemed to hang on there pretty good.
Depends what kind of a place we're in, if we're sheltered or in the open. But a topic to be debated. Okay, what about Sarean? Doug Fairweather asks can you tell us about Sarean? What kind of a boat she is? So she's a Bowman 47, and she is...
Originally, she was built, or Bowman was originally built in the UK, and then Holman and Pye bought the moulds to her, and they started building them in Australia. They've been around for quite some time. There's not a lot of them around, but there is a few.
There are a few. Yeah, and she's a good girl.
Yeah.
Well built. Yeah. There's actually, if you want to know more about Sarean or Bowman's as a vessel, if you go onto our website, www.sailing.svsarean.com, we've got the specs and all the details about Sarean on that page. So, okay, so Daniel Voon asks a pretty cool question, actually, I thought. Have you guys had any unpleasant experiences or encounters with piracy and theft and or corruptions during your sailing adventures? So no, but we are heading to areas that are probably going to be corrupt. So So we'll let you know about that in the future. But I did think I would talk about our piracy plans. We haven't done it yet, but it's on the list to be done very shortly. The 2 companionway sliders, so we have 2 companionways. One comes forward into the saloon and one goes aft into the aft cabin. And so we're actually going to make those with little holes. They're actually made of plywood.
Yeah, we'll make them out of plywood.
We'll make them out of plywood and put mozzie screen holes through there, but make it strong enough that if we have a piracy or encounter, or we have an encounter with a dodgy vessel or something, we can come down below, basically shut ourselves in the boat and still have air. We do have a remote control which controls the autopilot.
Yeah.
So we can actually steer Sarean from down below. And so basically our plan is to lock ourselves in here and steer Sarean in some direction, so we can't actually be accessed unless they fire gunshots at us and hold the boat. Whatever.
Then we're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, then we're in a bit of trouble. We don't have guns on board, and it's not really our thing, because I think really from the footage that I have seen, you've got 5-6 guys on a boat, and they're coming at you with AK-47s or automatic rifles or whatever they've got. They've got way more than you. You might get one shot away, and they'll probably fire you with 100 or something. So what's the point? You may as well just lock yourself away, and they can't get to you. So the other thing that we have is chains on the hatches, the forward hatches. So for example, if we're in an anchorage, you can't actually lift up the hatch to a point that you can get in, but you can still have airflow through the boat, which is really good. So,
yeah, most of the encounters you're really dealing with sort of island people with just canoes, and it's just sort of random
wanting to
fest.
grab your shoes or something.
Yeah,
maybe take a dinghy away, but we'll be locking hi ho to the davits, so that won't be they won't be able to do that. So that's kind of our plan with piracy. If we're sailing, just lock ourselves below, and if we're in an anchorage, we're kind of foolproof the boat so that people can't get in. So the other thing is putting the electric fence around the lifelines. So that's a really cool idea. We heard that from another cruiser, and I think making your lifelines live will deter people from hopping on board.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. I've done a little bit of research on it. I think I can make it all work, and we'll let you know how that one goes.
Yeah.
It should be fairly interesting.
We'll test it out. Okay, so really quickly, just on our plans, Shane Ward and both Daniel Voon and Shane Ward asked, Shane asked, do we live full-time on Sarean? Yes, we do. And do we have plans for your travels for only short-term or long-term? So we have long-term plans to just keep on sailing until we don't like it anymore. I think I've got a little plan where when we're 70, I'm going to have saved up enough money to buy us some electric sheet winches. So it's, long-term for us. Yeah. Do we plan on buying a house and growing old in it? We have a house, and
yep, we'll grow old.
We'll grow old. Yeah. So somebody did ask, and I didn't write it down, how we managed to cruise, and that probably covers it. We have a house and rental, and fingers crossed we receive an amount that allows us to live frugally and continue sailing. So hopefully that'll keep up. We don't have to get to the rice and soy sauce stage. So that's how we manage to cruise. And Daniel asked, what's the offshore plan? Yeah,
it's pretty loose.
It is a pretty loose plan, and that's kind of because weather dictates what we do, where we go.
We don't really have to be anywhere, and we've got a loose plan for the Pacific, so
we are very late. We have been held up, and we have been doing some big projects on Sarean, so we're a bit late in the season to head north. We're currently sitting in the cyclone zone, and I'm would like to avoid sitting through another Cat 5 or Cat 4, whatever it was. Give that a miss. So we were planning on going north and heading out to the Louisiades and the Solomons and spending the season up there, and we may do that. We still haven't quite decided exactly. Otherwise, I don't know. we want to get out to the Pacific, so depends how we do it. So we might go up north and then the Solomons, and then the winds turn, and so it's a really nice trip down through New Cal and Vanuatu, and then we could hop out to the Pacific from there. Otherwise, if we are up in the Louisiades and we do get a cyclone come in there, that would push us out through Asia to hide, so we might end up going that way.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter where we go. So that's our loose plan, just to sort of keep adventuring and to bring it all to you, to share it all with you, because life on the water is beautiful, and the places that you see and the people that you meet are just amazing and just humbling and blow you away how other people live, and there's lots of really interesting things to see, so we're going to bring that to you and inspire you guys, hopefully. So thank you so much. We hope you found that interesting and answered a few of your questions.
There's a stack more to be answered, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to it with another Q&A. And actually, what I wanted to ask you was if you guys were interested in a live Q&A. So if you could let me know, if you could write in the comments whether you're interested or no, not your thing. And if we get enough people who are interested, then we'll do a live Q&A. So let me know also where you're from, and we'll try to kind of
match
tee it up.
Times.
So cool. Thanks so much for watching, and please give us the big thumbs up and click on the notification bell to ensure that YouTube lets you know when our next video is out. Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao. Have a great day.